Michigan back home, second game in 3 days, second game of three in a 7 day span this week, taking on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. These two teams played earlier this season in the RAC, and Michigan won by just 3 points, just like every game Michigan wins. It's a one possession game. This was a game without Dylan Harper. So, just objectively on its surface, Rutgers was within 3 points of beating Michigan at home without their best player back in February, at the beginning of February. A lot has changed for these two teams. Michigan's won a bunch of close games since that game. Rutgers has kind of been up and down. They've had some impressive wins along the way. They've had some baffling losses along the way. This is a Rutgers team at 14 and 14. I mean, they're not anywhere close to the bubble right now, but hypothetically, if they were to win out and beat Michigan and Purdue on the road along the way, get to 17 and 14, I think there would at least be a conversation that with a couple wins in the Big Ten tournament, maybe they could sneak into the play-in here. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't know, but we expect Dylan Harper back for this game. How much does that mean to you, Cart?
It means a lot because I think that well actually it means a lot if you answer this question the way I think or I don't know how you're gonna answer it, so I'm gonna ask you it. Is the notion that Michigan struggles with NBA caliber guards still a thing, or was that more a non-conference?
Absolutely a thing. Every loss Michigan has had this year, they have had a ball screen drop coverage killer kill them.
Okay, well, welcome Dylan Harper, maybe one of the best guards in the country, and also maybe one of the best demons in the drop coverage killer area. That's going to pose problems.
Hunter Salas, Boogie Fland, Jeremiah Fears, Dawson Garcia, Braden Smith, Jace Richardson. What do all those guys have in common?
NBA level guards?
They're less talented than Dylan Harper. And if
Oh,
Dylan Harper is 100% in this game, he can do exactly what those other six guys did and just shoot Rutgers to a win. That's absolutely possible here. Now, Michigan has made some tweaks to what they've done defensively in recent weeks. We have seen Michigan employ a zone defense that has worked really well against certain teams. Michigan State kind of tore it up late in the second half. So it's not the world's best zone defense. It's certainly a zone that can still be beaten and you can still find one-on-one top opportunities within it. More importantly than that, they've also just changed their coverages. Like it hasn't just been, oh, let's throw a junk zone out here. Against Rutgers, the first game, remember, they were sending double teams at Ace Bailey the whole game. It was one of the first times all season, Cart, where I came on a recap with you and made note that Dusty May went away from what he normally does to come up with something creative. And I gave him a lot of credit for it because I thought they really, I thought they frustrated Ace Bailey more than anybody had all season. He had 10 points on 15 shot attempts in the first game here. Easier to do that when there's no Dylan Harper, but I like the way they approach that. I would guess that Michigan has a similarly unique approach. You even look at the Nebraska game earlier this week where it was the ugliest game of the year, but the Michigan defense held Nebraska to 46 points. They changed their coverage on the fly. Bryce Williams was torching them 4 minutes into the game. They started hedging a little more aggressively. Vlad Golden got out on the perimeter more than he ever has this season. And I thought it affected Bryce Williams. He was still really good, but he wasn't able to just like comfortably ease his way into those drop coverage shots that he did in the first 4 minutes. So Dusty has shown he will adjust. He will come with creative game plans to try and stifle things like this that killed them earlier in the season. It's still easier said than done to do that against Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey when they're both on the floor.
right. When they're both on the floor, Rutgers is a different team because I mean, you look at the whole body of work. I mean, we're over here talking like Rutgers has done something like turned a corner or something like that. They really haven't. I mean, they beat a bad Washington team on the road in overtime. Took 34 points from Dylan Harper in that game. They beat USC at home in a game where they let Des Claude go for 30 and Wesley Yates went for 25. Like, you don't want to get it confused. Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey are special talents. Outside of that, there is more than a world's worth of stuff to be desired about this basketball team.
Yeah,
Um,
so I was thinking about this. Like, It feels like a lot of the discussion with Rutgers is like, oh, well, when they have Harper, they're awesome. Since the Kennesaw State game, when Dylan Harper's played 28 or more minutes, Rutgers is 9-9. It's not exactly like they're good when Harper and Bailey are
Oh,
both
they
good
needed a
too.
Harper game winner to beat Seton Hall. They lost to Princeton earlier this year. Like,
Yeah.
let's not forget that this team has two talented players. They're also not a good basketball team.
They are more dangerous for sure. And look, they just won back-to-back games where they went on the road and beat Washington halfway across the country. They needed overtime to do it, but Dylan Harper was the Ken Palm MVP in that game, played 41 minutes, 34 points. And then you come home to Jersey Mike's where, again, 25 points in 34 minutes, he was the Ken Palm MVP, he beat USC. So look, I think you've got to be ready for Harper to just go nuclear. He might go for 30 in this game. I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever. The question is like, does Michigan need to prevent Harper from going for 30 to win this game, or can they do other things that still win them the game even if that happens?
I think they can do other things that when the game can still happen. Also, as much as we're speaking on this end of the floor, Michigan's a team that struggled offensively and to shoot the ball, right? You're coming home, you're playing this Rutgers defense that stinks. Good time to find the shot.
It is. You're right.
Like this team, like I said, they gave 85 to USC, 85 to Washington, 75, 8. Like they gave 90 to Maryland, 82 to Illinois. Like they can give up a lot of points. The
Yeah.
only team that hasn't scored 80 against them is Oregon, who has 75, and then the shit Michigan who only scored 66 at the rack. But like, if you want to find your shot, I think this would be a great game at home to do such. If you're gonna
Yeah.
do it now.
I agree. So yeah, even going through Rutgers' recent wins, they're giving up like 57% shooting from 2-point range to opponents.
Yeah.
So I think you go back to the first game, Michigan shot 15 for 26 from two. Danny Wolf had 16 points, 14 rebounds. Vlad Golden had 14 points on 8 shot attempts. It does feel like Michigan will still get whatever they want at the rim in this game. I also am trying to remember back again, no Dylan Harper, but I remember coming out of that Michigan Rutgers game feeling like Michigan did a really good job of making other guys take shots,
Hmm.
and that JaMychal Davis and Tyson Acuff both made a bunch of threes. JaMychal Davis was 4 for 7 from three against Michigan in 30 minutes. He has made 4 3-pointers since in 6 combined games. Tyson Acuff was 4 for 8 from three against Michigan. He has 3 different games with zero threes made where he barely played since then. Now he did go 4 for 8 against Iowa, but like it felt a little bit like okay, some guys that don't normally go off went off against Michigan the first time. Don't think you're going to need those other guys to go off when you have Harper, but it's something I'm keeping an eye on for sure because I feel like that game for me was a more comfortable Michigan win than a lot of these other close games they've had. Like
Hmm.
you looked up at the end, it was a 3-point game, but I felt like Michigan was in control of it more than some of these other ones. And I don't know how Harper will affect that. We'll have to wait and see. But um, for Michigan offensively, they may not have Reuben Jones again. He looked sick. Namari Burnett looked sick in the second half. I don't know what's going on with that. How many guys can Michigan afford to be without and still win this game?
I mean, you need Namari, I think, especially Namari to get his. I think he'll be big because I think he can knock down shots in this game. Reuben Jones, not as much a concern. I think I trust Roddy Gale to be able to do enough and fill in that spot. But I think Namari is huge to what Michigan wants to do offensively and defensively. For as good as the two bigs are in the zone, I think having Namari too being like the top of the zone guy or on the wing spot wherever they put him, I think that's big for them. So hopefully they are healthy. Hopefully they're drinking their orange juice, getting the fluids in them and all that. Because it's time to get a win. It's time to get right at home.
I actually think you really need Reuben Jones for this game to try and contain Harper.
Uh I suppose I don't think he can.
I don't think he can either, but like whether it's zone or man, a healthy Reuben Jones is one of the only like good one-on-one defenders Michigan has to offer, and he's got size and athleticism, and he's been disruptive.
He disrupts my life.
Reuben Jones does.
Yeah.
In what way?
Just I just don't think he's that relevant to Michigan. I know he is, and I know you tell me he is, but I don't want to acknowledge that he is.
I mean, I don't think he's good in any way, shape, or form, but I think he's their best on ball defender, and you need your best on ball
I
defender
think
if you're going to play
Namari
Dylan
is.
Harper. No, Namari's slow.
Ruben Jones just gets torched.
I don't think that's true at all.
Might not be, but I think so.
All right. I wish there was a comp for this on the other side. Like, there's just a guy that I'm wrong about on Michigan State that you like watch enough to know like you're just wrong.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think I'm right.
You think Reuben Jones gets torched every time you watch?
I think he's got a little bit of like, oh, he's Colin Boswell of defenders. He's really not that great.
I mean, not that great is different than getting torched. Kylan is an objectively good defender too.
Okay, torch is maybe the wrong word.
I mean, I'm not out here screaming Reuben Jones is all defense. I'm just screaming he's the only guy that can cause any issues to Harper at all.
That's fair.
If Harper's one on one with Namari Burnett for 100 possessions, he'll score 100 of them. If he's one on one with Reuben Jones for 100 possessions, he'll score 90 of them.
10 will be special though.
It's an impact.
It is.
All right. Let's just get to predictions. Ken Palm has Michigan by 12 at home. I'll be all over Rutgers if that's the number.
I think Michigan finally shoots the ball well. So it'll be close, but I think Michigan wins and covers.
Covers 12?
Yeah.
Their last wins are by 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 4. I wouldn't take anything above 6 against anyone.
Haven't shot the ball well in any of those games.
I know, but
I think they shoot the ball well at home. Rutgers is not good.
they're not. But that's just, I wouldn't bet more than 5 points on Michigan against
It's just
anybody.
it's just the number. It's just what they do.
I'd like Michigan by 2 in this game. I think they will win. I think it'll be by 2 points.